Joining me now is the Assistant Minister for Trade and Future Made in Australia, Tim Ayres. Tim, thanks so much for your time. How worried are you about this ongoing trade war? I mean, he long threatened it, didn't he?
Well, it's certainly been the case that, there's a change of administration. There is a change of approach on these questions that's long been apparent. That President Trump would take a different approach on these questions. I should say that notwithstanding that, there have been changes in the approach in the United States over the course of the last 3 or 4 years. In Australia, we have been prepared for all of this.
Oh, so you have been prepared for this. You took those threats seriously during the campaign. What have you done in preparation for it?
Well, of course, a government that is focused on Australia's interests, that has, as I've said before in your program, Laura, in real distinction to the previous government, we haven't been blowhards on these issues, but we have worked in a calm and consistent way in Australia's national interest on the trade questions, whether it's the Southeast Asia economic strategy in our region. Working across the trade and strategic areas, which are closely related now in a way that they weren't perhaps 5 years ago. We have focused on them in the relationship with the European Union, where we have taken a calm and consistent approach to that, and because we have not been able to secure the right outcome for the Australian agricultural sector, we have held back from pursuing that agreement. We'd like to conclude it. But we're focused on the national interest, not ribbon cutting and not headlines, in terms of the obstacles to Australian trade in China. Work through those issues in a calm and consistent way. And on all of these questions, your viewers, workers who work in export-exposed industries, firms and employers can be confident that this government will be focused on the national interest. We've done the work. We understand the environment that we're in. We're not speculating about what might happen. We're focused on
what is. So are you saying the diversification of our trading partners is kind of giving us a bit of a buffer here, or have we not done enough of that?
Well, there's two bits of this, if I can answer it that way, Laura. The first is, of course, we've got to deal with the immediate questions, and diversifying Australia's markets is very important. But it's also, as Trade Minister Don Farrell has made really clear, it's also about diversifying the products and services that Australia offers to the world and making our economy more resilient. That's what the Future Made in Australia program is about. Not
but
just
how do we make our country more resilient
overseas,
when we've got the most expensive energy that we've had in 30 years? And no one can really tell us what the total system cost of Labor's Renewable plan is. Can you tell us this morning? What is the total system cost?
I'm very glad you raised it. You don't make electricity prices and energy prices lower for Australian industry and households by making them higher. That's what Peter Dutton's nuclear reactor plan does.
That's not exactly a revelation. I asked you about your plan, not the nuclear plan. Could we stick on that? What is the total system cost of the renewable plan?
Yeah. Let me just make this point, Laura. Peter Dutton's nuclear reactor strategy in terms of aluminium, right, which we are focused on at the moment.
I don't even want to talk about his at the moment. I want to talk about your plan. What is the total? That's a pretty simple question.
Yeah, well, it's a question that the Energy Minister would be very happy to engage with you about. I just say,
fair enough.
Peter
You are not the
Dutton's
Energy Minister,
about our system.
but Frontier Economics. Let's not talk about what Peter Dutton says about it. Let's go to someone independent. Frontier Economics. You've used them before. They say it'll cost around $600 billion, well above the 121 touted by Chris Bowen. So, do we trust Frontier Economics or not?
$121 billion, Laura, that's the answer.
Well, no, that wasn't the answer from Frontier. Frontier said 600.
Look, it's a free bit of modelling that hasn't worked out very well for Peter Dutton.
Well, nor have any modelling from any government departments or governments in the past either, I might say.
Laura, I'm very happy to talk about Peter Dutton's modelling because the costings in that assume
I want to talk about your modelling. How can we assume that 120 billion is going to be right when Frontier Economics says it'll be, 5 times that?
Well, you're raising the modelling, Peter Dutton's modelling with me. It has as the fundamental basis for the modelling that is done in there, it relies upon the AEMO progressive change scenario, and that relies upon halving electricity-intensive manufacturing in Australia. That's aluminium and steel gone. So you add car industry, steel industry, aluminium industry. What else does the previous government and a future, if Peter Dutton was ever to be the Prime Minister, electricity-intensive manufacturing gone, and all of those opportunities for our future squandered.
Yeah.
And he's out there being a blowhard about these questions. Like he said again yesterday, it doesn't matter how many times you repeat the lie, it is still a lie. He says 28,000 kilometres of transmission required for the program. For rolling out the electricity network. That is a lie by a factor of 7.